Oh man, I'm gonna miss a field trip. But first, play my music. Made it to our field trip. Got a little surprise for you guys today. We're at Sunshield Window Tint in Florence, Kentucky with Ryan. Ryan's the owner.
Hello,
Ryan.
nice to meet you guys.
Man, he's even better than everybody else. He went ahead and said hi all on his own. What we're going to do here today is we got a GMC Acadia. We're going to tint the windows with him. We're going to go over some information about window tint, the benefits, and basically care after the fact. Anything you want to add before we get started?
Window tint is awesome. It does a lot more than make your car just look cool.
Perfect. Let's get it going.
Everything has to be clean. Even the outside, even though tint goes on the inside.
Okay, but why has it got to be clean on the outside?
Because we cut the window, the film on the outside of the glass in order to fit it on the inside of the glass.
So on percentage of film, what does the number mean?
The number means how much light that it lets in through the glass. Like so, for instance, 20% will let in 20% of the light. It'll block out 80% of the light.
So the bigger the number, the brighter it'll be in the car.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
The smaller the number, the darker it is.
We're in Kentucky here. What's the legal limit?
So on the two front doors in Kentucky, the legal limit is 35%. And then on the two back doors in the back window is 20%. Okay. So 35 on the front, 20 on the back.
What about on your windshield?
So on the windshield, technically speaking, you're allowed to do 70% the clear film on the full windshield. Or you could do a strip at the top part of the windshield, the top couple inches or so. Both of those are legal.
Okay, so any darkness I want on the strip.
On the strip at the top, you can go any shade you want.
And how far down can the strips go?
Usually there is an AS1 line on the windshield.
So now we're just rounding all these corners off here to make it even.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about window tint?
That it is illegal. That people are scared of the police and they're scared of the law when they get their windows done. They think, oh, I'm getting in trouble. Or the other one is that they think that it has to be dark in order to cut heat from the sun, which it definitely does not. It does not have to be dark in order to cut heat. The window is curved, even though it looks flat. The window is curved, so we have to make the film piece curve to fit the curve of the window. Which that is very easy. We just take these things here, they're called fingers. Those guys there. And we just use a heat gun and heat them up. This is my favorite part. When you heat it, the film will fold onto itself, essentially shrinking. This gap up here cannot be over the edge. There has to be a little bit left or else the film could mess up and peel over time. So that's pretty much as close as it gets right there.
You're just getting the moisture out of it?
Just squeezing moisture out of the film because it has to be wet. The glue, the adhesive on it is water activated, so it doesn't work unless it gets wet. And it doesn't slide around on the glass unless it gets wet either. So that is crucial. So now my job here is to just get all this water out of there.
How long does window tint last?
As long as it's installed correctly, as long as it's professional film, which professional films are everywhere, it's really hard to not find professional films, then it should last longer than the vehicle. But there is some film out there, some cheap film, like film in the 90s, early 2000s, might last a couple years before it fades. But nowadays, the tint is so advanced, like technology-wise, tint should last longer than the car.
And when you're looking for a tint shop, what are questions you should ask before you get your vehicle tinted there?
The main thing is whether or not you do your research on what quality, what brand name of film they use. I would also make sure that they, have been in business for a little bit of time, or they at least have been installing window tint.
Subscribe. I don't care about the like. Comment. Comments are the key. All right, we just finished up the Acadia. We're going to go over a few basics here. So what is important after getting window tint done for the aftercare? What's important in the first couple days?
So the main thing, the first couple of days, is you got to keep the windows rolled all the way up for, depending on the weather, 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
That's the single most important thing, is keep them rolled all the way up. Don't go through drive-throughs or banks or parking garages or little weird things like that that'll tempt you. Just roll them down 2 to 3 straight days.
All right. And, like, what about cleaning? How are we doing that?
So when you clean the windows on the inside, you're not supposed to use ammonia products like Windex. Don't use ammonia products. These guys make a really good cleaner. Rad Glass Cleaner.
Shameless plug.
It's really good. It's an ammonia-free product. It helps because ammonia products could cause like the adhesive from the film to break down over time. You can get that here, or you can get that at their shop.
Of course, always at our shop. Another question that we had is, what's the biggest difference between ceramic and standard film? We hear that a lot.
So the main difference between ceramic film and non-ceramic films is that it gives you much more heat protection. It gives you infrared heat protection. And what that is pretty much the heat from the sun is made up of 3 different heat sources. If you look at this pie chart here, infrared heat makes up 53% of the heat from the sun. And then the other 44% is visible light.
When the sun's out, you can feel the heat. And then 3% of it is UV rays. So ceramic tint, it's an infrared blocking film. So it'll block a vast majority of this 53% of the heat, compared to non-ceramic films only block a percentage of the visible light. And it does have all films that we carry have lifetime warranties that covers bubbling and peeling and it won't fade or turn purple. Ceramic film has a little bit better scratch resistant coating on it because it's a really thick film. It's really hard to dig in there and gouge film, which gives you that little bit extra benefit of it's a little bit more durable than non-ceramic. So the other thing when carrying with windows on the inside after the tinting is that there's a dry out process. The dry out process, the film, the moisture from the install has to dry and evaporate out of the film. That process takes about 2 weeks for the film to completely dry, for the adhesive to cure to the glass. And what happens is the first couple of days after the install, you're going to be able to see water. You're going to be able to see little moisture bubbles in there that has to dry and evaporate out of the film. That usually gets worse before it gets better, but anything that you can see is usually gone within 2 to 3 days. But it takes 2 weeks to completely dry. So after a fresh install, you're going to see little bubbles in there. That's perfectly normal. That will go away.
All right, guys, that's the end of our field trip today. I want to thank Ryan for having us out here at Sunshield. Again, they're in Florence, Kentucky. We'll put a link number up on the screen for you. If you guys have any questions, just let him know or reach out to us. Thanks for tuning in.